So we've got 7 tips for creating a spiritual routine that suits you. So I will be covering what a spiritual routine is, why create a spiritual routine, how to create a spiritual routine, things that you can add to your spiritual routine, and what to do if it becomes boring and monotonous. We don't want to have something that's just going to be another tick list on your to-do list that's just going to be like one of those things, oh no, I've got to do this again sort of thing. We don't want that. That's not going to help anybody, especially you. So a spiritual routine is, like when you do your morning and you've got certain things that you do in the morning and certain things that you do in the night before you go to bed. Even if you don't realize it's a routine, if you're doing the same things every time, it's a routine. And a spiritual routine is adding spiritual aspects, the things that people that you class as being spiritual or more on the spiritual side, into some sort of a routine, whether it's daily or weekly or every few days, where you are going to be able to put it into a routine and keep going with it on a regular basis. So we create a spiritual routine by adding things in that we want to do that feel good to us. So the 7 tips. So tip number 1, keep it simple. It shouldn't be complicated. It gets really overwhelming if it's too complicated. So it can end up being the opposite and start to really stress you out, especially when you're trying to do all of the things, and then you end up having that as just something that's going to be way too overwhelming, way too much, take up way too much time. And we don't all have the same amount of time in it. Well, we do. We do have the same amount of time each day. What I mean is some days we have more to do than others. So we can't always have like a 3-hour spiritual routine. It's going to be way too complicated, way too much. Sometimes we may want to do that. Sometimes we may have time to do that. Fair enough. But you don't have to. It's not important. And spirituality should look any way that you want it to look. Tip number 2. Spirituality can look any way you want. You need to decide how it looks for you. If tarot, crystals, candles, or whatever aren't for you, drop them. And I'm saying this as a tarot reader. You don't have to after you use those things. I have a candle here. Do I light it? No. I don't use wax melts. I don't use candles because my body doesn't like the candles. My body doesn't like the wax melts. I don't like them. They make me all sinusy or weird, and I end up feeling like I've got all bunged up and got a cold. So there's something to do with candles that just don't agree with me. So I don't use them. But some people might class lighting a candle and meditating on the flame and whatever else as part of their spiritual routine, and that's okay. So keep it simple, and it can look any way you want. So decide what it looks like to you. Number 3, fit it in around your life. Sometimes a rigid schedule makes it boring and monotonous, and it just ends up as another thing on your to-do list. And we don't want that. We don't want it to be boring and monotonous. We don't want it to be just that thing that you tick off the to-do list, because it's not going to benefit you as much if you're finding it boring and you're just doing it to tick something off your to-do list. Tip number 4. Don't feel like you need to do all of the things. If you don't like something, drop it or change it. If you're starting a routine and you don't like something isn't working for you after a while, drop it, change it for something else. It's completely okay. It's your routine. It's up to you. Don't feel like you've got to do everything. It's not important. It's not important to do every little thing that somebody might class as being spiritual. If that's not for you, that's not for you, and that's okay. Tip number 5, make it enjoyable. It's not just, and like I keep saying, it's not just an extra thing on your to-do list. So mix it up, make it interesting, make it enjoyable, make it something you enjoy, something you're excited to do, something that you're happy to do. Tip number 6, meditation does not have to be sitting on the floor chanting in silence. You can meditate in various different ways. You can meditate, for instance, you can meditate in the shower, when you're doing the dishes, just a few minutes when you're sitting there waiting for your children to find their shoes that they've lost for the millionth time this morning, just for a few seconds. You can meditate on a walk, all sorts of different ways that you can meditate. You don't have to be sitting on the floor chanting in silence. For a start, if I sat on the floor to chanting or sat on the floor in general for meditation, there's no way would I get out. I wouldn't be able to get up again. I know I'm not the only one. Number 7. Adding grounding and protection to your routine does not have to take long. It can be done in a minute or 2 or during another activity. For instance, one type of grounding you could do is going outside and putting your bare feet in the grass outside, or hugging a tree, touching a tree. Could be as simple as imagining roots coming down from your soles of your feet into the earth, round the ball of light in the earth, and bringing it up into yourself, into your whole being, and putting your bubble of protection around you from that. It can happen as quickly as you can imagine it, or as slowly as you feel like you need to, or even as many times as you want to do it. And a bonus tip, journal a few questions. Don't feel like you've got to journal 7, 8, or whatever questions. Journal just a few of them. Keep it short. Keep it short. But don't feel like you need to do it daily either. You can add longer journaling whenever you want, whenever the mood takes you. Do it longer, do it shorter. But don't feel like you've got to do it every single day, even if you don't feel like you have time, don't. You can always create a longer version of your spiritual routine and a shorter version. So a couple of things that you do every day without fail, like grounding, which I definitely recommend grounding and protection every day, meditation, journaling, or whichever types of tasks that you want to add. So things that you can add to your spiritual routine. I've got a list of things here. So like I've mentioned before, grounding and protection. Tarot and oracle card pull. So you could always pull a card for yourself a day. You could choose crystals daily that you're drawn to and wear them, put them in your bra, put them in your pocket. Keep them on your person, wear them around your neck. I'm not wearing mine right now, but you get the point. Journal, prayer, if prayer is your thing, pray. Use a pendulum. Bathe with or without candles. Bathe with some crystals, not all crystals. You need to do your research on what crystals are okay in the water and what aren't. But you can bathe with them or bathe with candles, and you can meditate in the bath too. Be creative. You could use like art materials and you could sit and you could draw, you can paint. No matter how good or bad you feel like you are. Draw, paint, create something. Go outside in nature and collect bits from nature and create something like an artwork. You could just sit in silence. Don't underestimate the power of just sitting in silence. Choose a form of meditation or various forms of meditation if you feel like you want to try different ones out. Do yoga, tai chi, or let me see if I can pronounce this right. Qigong. These are like the more energetic based exercises and movements that can help. That Qigong and Tai Chi is something that I've always been drawn to do. I don't do it very often, but it's something I've always been drawn to do. And yoga even as well. And I know amazing yoga teachers there's amazing yoga teachers out there that do it online, or YouTube videos or whatever, to help you to learn what to do with regards to that and what feels right for you. But moving your body in general is good for you, even if sometimes some of us don't feel like so good afterwards. It's always good to move your body in any way you can, whether that's just your movement of your arms or whatever you feel like you want to. Listen to music and flow with that music however you feel like you want to, whether you just want to sit in silence and listen to the music, to close your eyes and focus on what the music around you, whether you want to use that music and move your body in rhythm with the music however you feel the need to. Or you could always do breath work. I like to focus on my breath quite regular. It helps me to calm me down, especially if I'm feeling a bit anxious. Breath work is something I do on the daily basis. Using essential oils, as long as you're safe, as long as you're safe with them, as long as you're not ingesting the oils, as long as when you're putting them on your body, you're using a carrier oil, and you are aware of what oils you are using and how you are using them, and using them safely. Using oils can be really useful. I like to breathe in oils. I like to diffuse oils every now and again. And I usually just go with ones I'm drawn to, whether I need calming or uplifting. But I know what oils I'm using and when, and I know a bit about them oils to know if I'm doing it right or not, Healing practices for those who are tuned to Reiki or intuitive healing, using Reiki on yourself, or even just the intention of healing certain parts of yourself or cleansing the area even, or the room, is really useful to add. You could do sound healing. So you could use something like a sound bowl. This was only a cheap sound bowl I've used, but the power of sound is amazing for healing and cleansing the area, and vibrations really help. You could burn incense, you could do visualization, you could practice mindfulness, anything else that you could do. Anything else you feel is spiritual, whatever you feel is spiritual, you can do. So, I went over what a spiritual routine is. I'll give you some tips on what you can add as a spiritual routine, but know that it's up to you to do your routine however fits you. And I've gave you the spiritual tips. Keep it simple. It can look at any way you want it to do. Help it to fit around your life. Don't feel like you need to do everything. You don't have to do all the things. Make it enjoyable. Meditation doesn't have to be sitting on the floor for hours in silence. Grounding and protection does not have to take forever. And a bonus one, journal just a few questions. Keep it short. Don't feel like you have to do an hour worth of journaling, especially if you don't like writing and journaling in the first place. Sometimes it's just not for you, and that's okay. There's no set way to be spiritual. As much as sometimes people like to impose their the way they do things on other people, whether that's in business or spirituality or in life in general. Nothing has to be done any way that you don't want to, that doesn't feel right for you. So that is your 7 tips for to create a spiritual routine that suits you. Remember to keep it simple. If it becomes boring, if it becomes monotonous and there's another thing on the to-do list, what can you do to change it up? What can you do to add something new in there? What can you do to really boost your energy with it and bring some more joy into it? And I hope you have the most amazing day. Thank you for watching.